Jump aboard, everybody. Happy Thursday. Yeah. We are less than 5 hours away from tonight's webinar. Tonight's groundbreaking, jaw-dropping, eye-opening webinar about heartburn, GERD, esophageal reflux, and why Nexium and Prilosec should be avoided like the plague. As you may know by now, one of the benefits to getting involved with Dr. Glidden and understanding what we're doing here, logging on to the website, listening to the radio program, is that you have access to my monthly subscription service where inside of which I have live webinars, live chat room sessions, all kinds of archived information about science-based, clinically verified health recovery protocols that you can avail yourself of right now. Fire your MD and hire yourself. How's that? Fire your MD and hire yourself. Learn how to take care of your own health with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition stuff that we have dialed in for you. Generic boilerplate, things that you can do, protocols, things that you can do right now from the comfort of your own home to support and promote the health of your body in the face of the diagnosis of most chronic diseases. Fire your MD. They've got nothing for you in the face of a chronic illness. The only thing they have anything for is acute stuff, burns, fractures, bleeding arteries, bullets, things like that. They're good at that. But for things like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, Lou Gehrig's disease, Alzheimer's, autism, they got nothing. Especially they've got nothing when it comes to heartburn, GERD, and esophageal reflux. And the therapeutics they propose you do are so old-fashioned, outdated, juvenile, and dangerous, your head will explode when you see the numbers and when you actually see the physiology. This isn't rocket science. You don't even need a high school degree to be able to understand what the heck is going on here. And listen, what you don't know about heartburn and Prilosec, it will kill you. Will definitely hurt you. And over time will make your life a horrible pit of despair. I am fear-mongering here on purpose because 780,000 people a year are killed because they listen to their stupid MD. 780,000 people a year are killed because they listen to their MD and we give them a pass. Oh, that doctor, he tried his best. Oh, I love my doctor. Well, God bless you. I think we have Stockholm Syndrome. That's when people who are kidnapped develop feelings of affection for their kidnappers. Well, look, 780,000 people a year are killed because of their MD. MD treatments are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. Look, your medical doctor may be a God-fearing, Christian that gives all of his free money to Doctors Without Borders. I don't know. Might be a really nice person. And the therapeutics that he or she have been taught are the leading cause of death in the United States. They've got nothing for you when it comes to chronic disease except drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery. And then when those drugs fail or create side effects, well, you're maybe accessible, you have access to a class action lawsuit, maybe you can try to recover, get some compensation for the damages done, but the doctor doesn't go to jail. Doctor's still in business. And like a knucklehead, they've convinced you to continue to pay for their services with monthly medical insurance premiums. It's insanity. It is insanity. Stop paying for medical therapeutics that don't work. Fire your MD. Avail yourself of home education with the health recovery, online health recovery subscription service I have, the CDs that Dr. Wallach produces, the books that Dr. Wallach writes, my books. A little bit of knowledge in this regard goes a long, long way. And if you want to surround yourself with a family of like-minded people, join Youngevity. Go to fireyourmdnow.com, click on the Youngevity button, and join us. It's a $10 buy-in to become a Youngevity member at the initial stage. It's a $10 buy-in. You have $10 you want to lay down, see whether or not what we're telling is that the actual truth. You hang out with us. You will see testimonials that will make you cry, and then you will become angry. Because as God is my witness, you have been played by 100 years of MD monopolization, pharmaceutical monopolization of the medical theater here. You have been played by the same people that started World War II, the drug companies. The same people that started World War II, funded World War II. You want to get in bed with those folks, be my guest, go right ahead. You roll those dice, you're going to lose. 780,000 people a year are killed because they rolled those dice. 780,000 people are killed because they didn't know there was another way. They didn't know they had another choice. Why didn't they know they had another choice? Because the MDs have gone out of their way for 100 years to convince you that everybody besides themselves is a quack. And it's nonsense. And we are making a difference here. We are taking it back. Taking back the night. Listen, this is, I am what do you call it? I am an open-minded critic. I don't care. If the therapies work, great. Some of the stuff that MDs do is fantastic and should be applauded. But most of the stuff that they do does not work. I've got no bone to pick specifically with the MDs. Well, I do, because they drew first blood. They were the ones that went out of their way to try to put members of my profession behind bars. They were the ones that went out of the way to try to bankrupt us. They were the ones that went out of their way to tell you, lie to you, that my profession is dangerous and it is filled with uneducated quacks. Don't go to CS. Certainly don't go to the chiropractors. The American Medical Association was found guilty in federal court in the 1980s of promoting a 10-year slander campaign against the chiropractors, and they were ordered to pay the chiropractic profession $25 million in damages. That's right. Your MD supports and promotes a professional organization that has been found guilty in federal court of slander. Slandering the chiropractors for 10 years. Don't see those chiropractors. They're dangerous and evil. Oh, fire and brimstone. Cats will sleep with dogs if you go to see the chiropractor. It's nonsense. That's what they did, and we give them a pass. Stop giving them a pass. When they hurt you, sue them. Stop going to see them. When they provide a symptom management therapy, reject it. Just stand up for yourself, for goodness sake. It's your own health you're fighting here for. No harm, no foul. Look, if it does, nobody's perfect, for goodness sake. But if it doesn't work, and 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 it hurts you, and it hurts you, and it hurts you, and it bankrupts you, don't you think it's time to stop doing it? What did Albert Einstein say? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Well, I don't care if you see MD-A or MD-B or the specialist MD-C or the specialist MD-D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, or L. They're all MDs. They're all trained in the same methodology. With them, it's drugs and surgery all the time. Drugs and surgery all the time. And don't even think about taking vitamins because they just give you expensive urine. Baloney. You want to drink that Kool-Aid? Be my guest. It is a free country. However, if you are sick and tired of sick and tired, you have come to exactly the right place. And tonight, I'm pulling out all the stops with this webinar. It's a free webinar. Usually you can only have access to my webinars if you're a subscription holder, right? You have to be a subscription holder. Not tonight. Tonight it's the first free webinar of 2013. How time flies. The first free webinar of 2013. Acid reflux, GERD, heartburn. How the MDs got it wrong. How the naturopaths got it right. What you can actually do to fix the problem instead of manage it. And why Prilosec and Nexium are two of the most dangerous drugs on the planet and should be avoided like the plague. If you want to log into the webinar, you better come early. We only have room for 200 people tonight. The last time we did a free webinar like this, we sold out. We didn't have room. We just didn't have room. People were left out in the cold. I'm not Dr. Oz. I don't have all the technology and all the money at my disposal of, the national networks. This is a small, in-house, home-based business. We only have the capacity on the internet right currently to hold 200 people. So max the room out. Max the room out. Get there early. Get your seat. We're going to start promptly at 8:05. Promptly at 8:05 p.m. tonight, Central Time. If I were you, I would be in the room by 7:45 p.m. at the 7:50 at the very latest. Check it out. Get your space just by going to fireyourmdnow.com and click on the little heartburn link right there on the front page. That's fireyourmdnow.com. Now, this is, has been, and still is Digestive Health Week. And we've covered a number of topics here. We started in the mouth, then we went to the stomach, then we went to the small intestine, and then we went to the large intestine. And later on today, we're going to close it out in the last segment, in the last hour. Sometime in the last hour, I'm going to talk about detoxification of the colon. Detoxification of the colon, how to do that, why you should do it, what you can expect when you do it, and why it's beneficial. And also why the MDs have gotten that one completely wrong, because they don't even believe that it's necessary to do this. More's the pity. These are the same people that told George Washington he needed to heal himself by bleeding himself to death, and they bled him to death, and they killed him, and they washed their hands and slept soundly that night after they just killed the President of the United States. And we gave him a pass. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to wake up. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. MD-directed medical treatment is the leading cause of death in the United States. And while we have let the MDs be in charge of our disease management, Alzheimer's is getting worse, autism is skyrocketing, obesity is skyrocketing, high blood pressure is skyrocketing, type 2 diabetes is skyrocketing, suicide is skyrocketing. Everything's getting worse, and they're the leading cause of bankruptcy. Oh, yeah, let's continue to go to those guys. Well, guess what? I don't think so. You know what time it is? It's time to fire your MD. When? Now. Fire your MD now. And join us instead. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, taking your calls when we come back. 866-582-9933, but you knew that, 866-582-9933. Joe is up first from South Dakota. Hey, Joe, thanks for calling. You are live.
Yes, Dr. Glidden. What I was going to talk to you about is my wife. She suffers from cysts, and I'm sure you know where them are located.
Yeah, so it's an ovarian cyst, right?
Yes, that's correct. And my understanding is they grow in size, and I'm not sure. I know they got her on some stuff. I actually looked up some medication, and basically it's poison what they're giving her.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's making her hair fall out and other things. So.
Well, so look, so this brings up a good point, Joe. I'm going to tell you what our take on this is, okay? But listen, MDs are of the opinion that your body is too stupid to be able to fix itself, and that once you're sick, you're screwed. It doesn't matter what you have, you're screwed. Your body cannot fix it, and your only option is to march in with a toxic, symptom-suppressive, man-made drug. Emphasis on man-made, because you cannot patent a naturally occurring substance. You cannot patent buttercups or orange juice or oxygen. You can only patent a man-made substance, something that's never existed in the natural world, and so that's why all drugs are synthetic, because you can't patent it otherwise. And if you mix molecules up like the mad scientist in the cellar and then deliver them to a living, breathing human being, something's going to go wrong, which is why, by the way, FYI, anesthesiologists have the highest amount of medical malpractice rates than any medical professional. Anesthesiologists pay more for medical malpractice premiums than anybody else, because every time you throw a biochemical cocktail into the human body, anything can happen. Sometimes you take a sedative, it puts you to sleep. Sometimes you take a stimulant, a sedative, it wakes you up, and sometimes you take a stimulant, it puts you to sleep. Who the hell knows why that's going to happen? Nobody knows why. It's a crapshoot. So look, from our point of view, just fire the MD. And honest to God, people always ask me, Dr. Glidden, I'm skeptical about taking those vitamins. Well, no, you're not. You're not skeptical. If you were skeptical, you never would have taken the prescription from the MD. If you really were skeptical, you would have asked the MD, well, geez, how is this stuff made? And what's the rationale behind it? And how does it work? And what are the side effects? And what's the track record? And how much is it going to cost? And what can I expect? But nobody does that. We're only skeptical when it comes to alternative, quote unquote. Whenever the MD says, we just lie down and take it. It's nonsense. But look, I'm glad you called, man, because this is not the most difficult thing in the world to fix. From our point of view, ovarian cysts are caused by a deficiency in progesterone. There are a lot of different sex hormones, both in men and in women. In women, there's the estrogens, estrone, estradiol, estriol, pregnenolone, dihydroepiandrosterone. There's all this stuff, and progesterone. It's like this big dance of hormones. It's like people in those, in Shakespeare's day waltzing around the ballroom floor, right? It's this one intricate dance between all of these players. It's a beautiful thing when everything goes correctly. But when your body runs out of the stuff it needs to make one of the hormones, then the whole thing falls apart. So from our point of view, ovarian cyst, the leading cause of ovarian cyst is a deficiency in the hormone progesterone. In 99 times out of 100, and I just made that number up, the reason that you don't have enough progesterone is because you don't have enough cholesterol in your body, because progesterone is made from cholesterol. That's what it's made from. So the first thing your wife needs to do, in my opinion, is stop taking any cholesterol-lowering medication. Now, in states where I can prescribe cholesterol-lowering meds, I would advise her to stop taking the cholesterol-lowering statin drug. If she's on one, don't even look at it. Now, I can't do that, of course, if she doesn't live in a state in which I can prescribe. If she doesn't live in Minnesota, then I can't tell her that. But if it were me, I would stop taking statin drugs completely. And I would emphasize eggs. Have her eat 6 eggs a day. 6 eggs a day with butter and salt. I want her to be...
What if she's allergic to eggs?
Okay, so have duck eggs or quail eggs instead. That's a good point. She's only allergic to chicken eggs, right? So switch it out. Go to Chinatown, get some duck eggs or get some quail eggs. That's the least expensive way to get cholesterol in the body, but for goodness sake, she can have turkey skin, turkey with the skin, chicken with the skin, if she's okay with chicken, rare meat, cheese, full-fat milk, full-fat yogurt, anything that's high in cholesterol she needs to do. And stick around with me. We're up against a heartbreak. I'll tell you, Joe, the supplements that she needs to round it all out when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Hey, everybody. We're talking to Joe from South Dakota about his wife's ovarian cyst. So, Joe, are you still with me?
Yeah.
All right. How much does your wife weigh?
About 180.
And how tall is she?
5'7".
All right. So she's what, about 30, 40 pounds overweight, right?
Yeah. I just got her on the longevity weight plan.
Okay, good. So let's not overlook the obvious, right? That the reason that people gain weight, and there's a caller, Sam from Seattle here, I'm going to be talking to in a couple of minutes, hopefully. He has a question about obesity, so listen up, Sam. Obesity, from our point of view, is caused by the overconsumption of calories. That's the only thing. When you eat too many calories, you gain weight. Period. That's the only thing. You're eating too many calories. What causes people to eat too many calories? Nutrient deficiencies. What drives not enough progesterone? Nutrient deficiencies. So the reason that your wife isn't able to produce sufficient amounts of hormone is because she's deficient in nutrients. How do I know she's deficient in nutrients? Number one, she's got ovarian cysts, and number two, she's overweight. And it's her doctor's fault. Anybody that's overweight, it's not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. It's your doctor's job to make you healthy. Your doctor has failed. So fire your MD. Fire him. Stop giving him insurance. Stop it. Transfer your comprehensive insurance to catastrophic insurance instead, in case you are T-boned in an accident at an intersection by a drunk driver, heaven forbid. That's what they're good for.
Absolutely. I've never ever myself. We've only been together about 6 months. I'm 38. I've never had insurance. I've always took care of my own health. I've been on longevity for 8 years. On I've known of Dr. Wallach for a very long time. I'm from Oklahoma. I was raised on a farm, a ranch. So trust me, I would much rather go to a veterinarian any day than a doctor.
Well, that makes you the smartest man in class, Joe. All right, so let's dial this in, okay? So the recommendation would be, in a perfect world, your wife per month would do 2 Healthy Start packs. She'd do 2 bottles of Bust FX and 2 bottles of Balance FX. And the Balance FX, those are both Youngevity products. It's under the Youngevity line of nutrients. The Balance FX, I want her to take 2 capsules twice a day. And the Bust FX, and she does that throughout the whole month. And then she adds the Bust FX, 2 capsules twice a day, starting 1 week before she expects her period, taking it all the way through her period until her period has stopped, okay? So that's 4 of the Balance FX every day for the entire month. And then starting 7 days before she expects her period, going all the way through her menstrual cycle, have her take 2 of the Bust FX 2 times a day, right? So she probably is only going to need 1 bottle of that a month, right? Because she's only going to take it for about 7 days. So get 2 bottles of the Balance FX and 1 bottle of the Bust FX, and as many Healthy Start packs as you can afford, up to 2. Now, in addition to this, I always tell everybody to take selenium, because selenium has so many benefits to selenium. So she should at least be taking 2 bottles of selenium a month. If it's in the budget, have her take 4. That would be the recommendation for her body weight. But in a situation like this, that's of minimal importance. I want her to at least be on 1 bottle of selenium a month, okay? So dial in the Healthy Start packs, the selenium, the Balance FX, and the Bust FX, and you and her and me and everybody else in the world must be gluten-free. You have to dial in for her the avoidance of the 10 bad foods, okay? So, and if you know Wallach, you know what we're talking about. That's very important. By the way, Dr. Wallach recorded a new CD a couple months ago. It's called Serial Killer, and it outlines the reason why gluten is bad. I also put a video together. It's free. It's on my website. You can get it by just opting into my newsletter. It's called Against the Grain. So go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Opt in for the my newsletter. It's free, and you'll get access to my Against the Grain video, and that will help you and your wife understand why gluten, wheat, barley, rye, and oats are 4 of the worst foods anybody can eat. So have your wife fire the MD. Stop taking that poison crap. Try this for 90 days, Joe. See what happens and give us a call back. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you so much for the call, and thank you for being a dyed-in-the-wool Youngevity person. That makes you the smartest man in the entire state of South Dakota. Thanks so much. Looks like Dorothy from North Carolina is up next. Hey, Dorothy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Yes, Dr. Glidden, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in May 2010. And it's stage 4 now because it's in the liver and lung.
Yeah.
And I started chemo January the 28th. I don't think it's worth to continue because of all the side effects. And then it's not even sure it's going to cure it.
It's not going to.
I'd like to go some other way.
Well, okay. So, look, number one, regardless of what illness you have, I don't care whether it's a hangnail or whether it's a cancer. When you go to a medical doctor, or any doctor, I don't care if you go to see a shaman in the rainforest in Brazil, I don't care who you go to, you need to ask them, well, look, doc, why are you prescribing this therapy? How is it going to work? And what are my chances of having a successful outcome? And when you say successful outcome, what do you mean? And if you hold the doctor's feet to the fire, number one, they'll never answer these questions because when it comes to chemotherapy, because if they did, nobody would get chemotherapy because it doesn't work and the doctor knows it doesn't work. It just doesn't. But they never tell you that because in their little tiny pea brains, they think that even though it doesn't work, well, maybe it will extend your life for 4 months, maybe it will extend your life for 1 month, and so just shut up and do what I tell you because I'm the doctor. That's how they think. And because in their medical training they're not trained in anything else, they don't have the courage to look anywhere else. They have closed mind and they're cowards. They don't have anything else to give you. And even though what they give you hurts you, it's the only thing they've got, and so they throw it at you. And they don't give you the option. They just tell you you're going to start chemo tomorrow. They don't even give you the option. And, you know, people are so intimidated by people in white coats. For goodness sake, they could tell you to jump off the roof of the hospital and most people would do it. So we need to start getting our courage up. We need to start asking honest questions to medical providers. And if everybody just asked their doctor 10 simple questions about chemotherapy or anything else, medical doctors would be out of business in a couple of years. Because when you get the straight skinny on how the drugs work, you'd never take the drug. So look, now, having said that, Dorothy, we can't treat cancer. For goodness sake, we don't really treat anything here because our therapeutics are designed to support and promote the health of the body. It's the body that fixes it. It's not us. So, you know, the only people that can treat cancer in the United States are oncologists. How about that? Go figure that. It's illegal for anybody to offer anybody any type of alternative cancer treatment in the United States. You can't do it. So, I can't tell you what to do for breast cancer that has metastasized to the liver because nobody knows what the heck to do for that. If it were me, what I would do to support and promote the health of my body is the following. How much do you weigh, Dorothy?
158 now.
158? Yeah, you've lost a bunch of weight, haven't you?
So I'm 158.
All right. So the first thing I would do is 8 bottles of Z-Radical a month. 8 bottles of Z-Radical a month. 8 bottles of Z-Radical a month. Now, I think 8 bottles of Z-Radical a month is going to cost you like $230. If you can't afford that, then do 7 bottles, then do 6, then do 5, then do 4. Do as many bottles of Z-Radical a month as you can, up to 8 bottles a month. Once you have dialed that in, if there's money left in the budget, do 1 Healthy Start Pack and 4 bottles of selenium a month. 1 Healthy Start Pack and 4 bottles of selenium a month. But the first thing I would focus on, if it were me and I was trying to support and promote the health of my body, I would do the Z-Radical and then the Healthy Start Pack and then the selenium. And you must stop eating the 10 bad foods. You just have to do that. And to get that list for free, just go to my website, please, fireyourmdnow.com, and opt in right there on the front page to my free newsletter. It doesn't cost anything. I don't sell the email addresses. We keep it all in-house. And as soon as you hit the submit button there on the front page, you will be directed to a page on my website that has the list of the good food, bad food, and also a little video that explains it. So there's 10 foods I don't even want you to look at, let alone eat. You have to stop eating 10 foods. Get on board with the Z-Radical. Get on board with the Healthy Start Pack and the selenium if you can. And, you know, the only other thing that I've seen work in this regard is prayer. You know, I've also seen that not work. But if I had to roll these dice for myself, I would roll it heavily in the direction of Z-Radical, okay? So God bless you, Dorothy. Thank you so much for calling. You'll be in my prayers tonight, as will everybody else who's sick in this country, and that's most of us, isn't it true? Most of us are sick. Thank you so much for the call. Okay, appreciate it. Now, I think we have time for one more. We're going to Marjay in Maryland. I think she's got questions about kids with allergies. Thanks for the call, Marjay.
Hi, hello again, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
Very good, thanks. What's up?
Well, I have 2 children I'd like to ask about. First is my stepson. He's 9, and he's with us 50% of the month. So we have him for a whole week.
Is his name Dr. Glidden? Because I think that's a great name for a kid.
I think so, too, but it's not that yet.
Oh, too bad.
He's kind of used to his name now, so it's going to be a little hard.
Oh, what are you going to do? Well, youth is wasted on the young, right?
Yes. Well, we have nutrified him well. He's on a scoop of Beyond Tangy Tangerine and 2 EFAs a day. He's about 75, 80 pounds. But the question is, he is not on board when he goes to his mom for the week.
Ouch.
So how is that affecting him? Is there anything more that we can do? That's my question for him.
Well, it's affecting him poorly because medical nutrition is a dose-dependent phenomenon. And, you know, unless you take it, it doesn't work. Now, certainly you can make the argument that it's better to take it 20% of the time than not at all, right?
Right.
So what are you going to do? It's better to give him stuff when you give it to him and then keep your fingers crossed. But really, in order to dial in the effectiveness here, it's 100%, you know, 100% of the time. So one possibility is to just have conversations with him and try, because kids don't pay attention to stuff like this. They're too busy being kids, right? So just have a conversation with him and see if he recognizes that he feels better when he takes the stuff or if he feels worse when he doesn't. And if invariably he will, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we have spoken with him, and we have even spoken with his mom. So he does have, we've supplied him, you know, with the nutrients at his mom's house. So it's just a matter of her reminding him and him remembering. So it's there, and he does recognize that he does feel better when he does remember to take them. So.
How old is he?
He's 9.
All right, so do a reward system. I would work out some type of a reward system. I don't know how you're going to gauge that, but, you know, if he takes it for 3 days in a row, then, you know, whatever, you could give him something. If he takes it for 6 days, 7 days in a row, give him something else. And if you can kind of train him like that with rewards to be more diligent with the stuff, then you might have a foot in the door here. We're up against a hard break. Marjay, stick around. I'll answer your other question when we come back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, Dr. Peter Glidden, yours truly here. We're talking to Marjay about how the heck to convince her 9-year-old stepson to maintain the discipline when he's away from home. You know, you kind of have me at a loss here. The only thing I can think about is try to do some behavior modification with rewards, and I don't know what that even would look like. Now, sometimes kids, if you make the Beyond Tangy Tangerine into a popsicle, right, they love the way that it tastes, and they're, you know, oh, it's a popsicle, and so they're more likely to ask for a popsicle, right, than they are for, you know, a vitamin drink or whatever. I don't know, but that's really the only thing that's springing to my mind right now, Marjay.
Well, he's pretty self-sufficient, and we've taught him how to mix it. You know, he knows how much juice or water to put in, and he can do the scoop by himself, shake it up. So he knows exactly what to do. He just needs to he just needs a little help when he's there remembering to do it. And she's not quite on board.
Yeah, you know, you might want to go get him a little cheap watch from Kmart or something that's got a little timer in it, and set the timer to go off as an alarm, you know, every day at 3 o'clock when he gets home from school or whatever, and, you know, try to train him that whenever that little alarm goes off, he's supposed to go and take his vitamins. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. You have another question?
Yes. I have a little friend in the neighborhood. She just turned 13, and she's really suffering with food allergies.
Yeah.
I've watched her for the last almost 4 years, just getting progressively worse and worse. She just turned 13. She's about, I want to say 75 pounds. Yeah. About 4'7", the tiny thing. And she is allergic to, now the growing list is corn and tomatoes and eggs and milk and wheat. She's already gluten-free, but it just seems to be the list just seems to be growing all the time. Her symptoms are extreme abdominal pain. She gets flushed, no fever, but very flushed and cold, clammy hands. No energy. She gets a headache, base of her head, behind her head. She's had chronic yeast infections. And it just seems to last longer each time that she hits another food.
Yeah, well, the generative cause, I'm running out of time here, Marjay, so I'm going to have to dial this in for you. The generative cause here, of course, is the destruction of the intestinal villi and the compromising of the intestinal villi by, you know, wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So it's good that she's gluten-free. That's mandatory, number one. Number two, all of this stuff, all of these symptoms that she has are related to chronic nutrient deficiencies, which is par for the course when the villi have been compromised by, wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And so it's kind of like a double whammy when people have food allergies, because the reason they have food allergies is because the villi have been compromised, and because the villi have been compromised, the body is nutrient deficient, and therefore it's a catch-22 because the body doesn't have the stuff it needs to fix itself. And so you're going to go from bad to worse. Now, whenever there's a presence of chronic recurring yeast infections, that's a drop-dead diagnostic clue that she needs intestinal probiotics. So as a start, in an imperfect world, I would give her the root beer belly to start with. I'd give her 1 serving of root beer belly every day for 90 days. That might give her some relief within 14 days. The second step up from that, of course, would be the Healthy Start Pack. 1 Healthy Start Pack for 100 pounds of body weight. But because she has so many food allergies, she's probably going to have a reaction to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine because it has 117 fruits and vegetables in it. So rather than the Healthy Start Pack, I'd start her with the root beer belly, and then I would give her the Cherry Mints, and then after the Cherry Mints, I would give her the OsteoFX Plus. Actually, I'd give her the Cal Toddy instead of the OsteoFX Plus. I'd give her the Cal Toddy, and then I'd give her the Tropical Plus and EFAs in that order. But, with people like this, her parents don't really know what the heck is going on. You're going to have to get your foot in the door somehow. That root beer belly is a great way to do it because it tastes great. She's going to love it. It's really going to help her gut tremendously. And it should knock down the persistence of the candida infections within 4 weeks. You got to start somewhere. Maybe lend her parents Dead Doctors Don't Lie CD or the Serial Killer CD or My Healing is Easy CD in order to try to get the parents on board 100%. And then you can really start to race for the moon here and, increase this child's ability to heal her own intestinal tract. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. We're up against a hard break.